Welcome back. Our last guest on the show today, Cheryl Newman, who is getting set to book for her book launch of her book. It's called We Are Mars. It is a sci-fi, and a week today, she is going to be unleashing this book on the city of Kamloops. Cheryl, it's great to have you on the show.
Sure, thanks,
yeah.
Susan.
Tell me a little bit about the book. It's your first novel. It's a sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's called We Are Mars, as I mentioned. What is it about?
It's about a settlement of people that in the future live on Mars in an underground settlement, and they face a number of challenges just daily, and then stuff happens. And there's a race against time, and things start to unravel, and by the end of the book there's a whole bunch of stuff that's gone on, and some people die.
And the year's 2128, is
Yes.
that right? And is Earth a part of the scenario? Do people still live on Earth?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, they're a big part of it, but not the way people would imagine.
Interesting.
Yes.
Where do you get your inspiration to do sci-fi?
The sci-fi comes from always loving the genre. I grew up watching things like Star Trek and Star Wars and X-Files and all that sort of thing, and really enjoying high-tech thrillers. Michael Crichton was one of my big writing influences. Yeah.
You've read all of his books?
Loved his books. And you know, he was big into making science fiction feel very realistic. So that kind of got me thinking, well, I really enjoy the genre, maybe I should try my hand at this. And came up with some ideas, put them out in a plot, and thought, well, I can probably write a book out of this.
Good for you.
There we are, 380 pages.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you chose to have your book launch in Kamloops. You are from the coast. You moved up here about a year ago, but you're choosing to have your book launch at the Evening Artisan Market on the North Shore,
That's right,
is that
Kamloops
right?
Artisan Market.
So how did that come to be?
Well, when we first moved here, we kind of decided that we've got to get into the community, and one of the things that I enjoy is painting and drawing and that sort of thing. I did some ceramics at Kamloops Makerspace, and then I heard about Carla Pierce's classes that she ran on Saturdays out of the market. So I joined up there, and Carla and I have become good friends, and in the process decided that the market is a really good place to promote the book, because I've been taken in by the arts community in Kamloops in a way that I was never really embraced down of the coast. And the launch is there because it's kind of like a thank you for all of that welcoming spirit, that creative spirit that I seem to have been embraced by here.
Isn't that fabulous?
It's lovely, I love it.
Kamloops is a very friendly community.
Yeah,
isn't
for
it?
sure.
Yeah, you really notice that when you move here, especially from somewhere like Vancouver, where, as is normal in big cities, it just doesn't tend to be as inclusive.
There's a
And that's just the way
disconnect.
of it. A bit of a disconnect.
Yeah.
Tell me this, who is We Are Mars directed to? Is it more of an adult book? Can teenagers read it?
It's an adult book.
Okay.
There are some scenes with violence, and I haven't spared the language, especially characterizations, because there's a bit of a military bent to some parts of the story.
Okay.
Those characters come across with that roughness, that military roughness. So.
In regard to Mars, I'm sure that your ears perked up in the news about a year ago, and they're talking about sending a spaceship to Mars, and you don't come home, you just go there, you stay there, maybe you make it, maybe
pretty
you don't.
much.
There's no trip home. For me, doesn't appeal to me. Writing this kind of stuff, does that appeal to you?
Absolutely.
Would you do it?
I would.
Good for you.
Just because I think that, I guess my sense of adventure and curiosity about what the place is like.
Sure.
I follow that sort of news rather avidly.
I bet.
SpaceX with all of their spaceships and things, Elon Musk with his pledge to die on Mars, that's where he wants to be
crazy?
buried.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
In a Tesla?
In a Tesla. And, you know, that kind of also got the ball rolling for me. It's like, well, what if? Let's imagine and play it out. Where would it go? What would it look like?
Yeah, very interesting. Tell me this, will there be sequels to this, or do you plan to write more books based on this story? Or
I've already got a sequel in the works. It's called Storm at Dawn.
Yeah.
And, yeah, plotted it out, started writing it, and it's going to get juicy.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it finishes off at the end of this one. The characters are dictating where the story goes.
Fantastic.
So.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Cheryl. I'm glad
Thank
that
you.
we've made contact because I think this is a fantastic story, a local success story where she is launching her book at the Kamloops Artisan Market a week today on the North Shore, Wilson House. And information is on the screen if you would like to meet or learn more. wearemars.com as well with the email address that's there, and we were sure to put up the correct email address for you. Thank you for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, to come out to the market and support the artisans that are showing.
Yes.
They're showing all the way through until September. And I'm part of the Interior Authors Group, so I'll have books out at that pretty much all the way through the summer. I'm going to be there this afternoon, starting to hopefully sell some books.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, job well done on the first edition here.
Thank you.
All right. Again, if you'd like to meet Cheryl, learn more about her novel. It's called We Are Mars. You can certainly do that tonight at the Artisan Market or for the official book launch, which is next Friday night at the Artisan Market, Wilson House on the North Shore. Cheryl, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Susan.
All right. We will take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.